Part 87. Shocking. She came back with a smaller version of the boss. Author, and knows. Chapter 861. Chapter 861 Flirting. Rong-li stood on the uphill road and looked at her. Chin-wan was wearing casual clothes, a t-shirt and jeans, and a pair of white shoes. She was walking towards her without makeup. The sun had not yet set. The villa was full of rich green and the sun was shining brightly. Threads of ground fell on her body along the gaps, and the light and shadow were flickering. Rong-li's eyes were all about her, and the corners of his lips raised unconsciously. "Have you seen me?" Chin-wan jumped down the steps made of wooden boards, his posture agile. Rong-li asked instead, "Have you seen me?" "No, I'm soaking in the hot spring in the room." "I'm too lazy to look at the scenery," Chin-wan said. "We have finished the exercise and have a half-day vacation. We will go to the hot spring mountain nearby to soak in the hot spring. We have to leave tomorrow morning. How about you? Come with a few partners for team building and leave tomorrow afternoon." Rong-li added, "The flight will go home tomorrow night." The two walked up the road. This is a mountain villa hotel. It is connected in all directions and the roads are smooth. The small villas are built exactly the same. It is difficult to tell the difference. There are star fruits, mangosteens, plantains, coconut trees, etc. planted in the villa. The scenery it is extremely beautiful, with sparse shadows and slanting shadows, and is full of light. It is a good place for vacation. Chin-wan had her hands behind her back, her hair scattered on her shoulders, and the fragrance of her hair was hidden in the breeze. Rong-li looked at her perfect side face, and the anxious feeling in his heart dissipated. "Are you tired from the exercise?" "This is my first time practicing. There are many unfamiliar places and I have made mistakes. Fortunately, it is not a big mistake and overall it is pretty good. If 100 points is a perfect score, I would give myself an 80 points. There is still progress." Space Chin-wan said in a brisk tone, "You can learn more in a large-scale exercise than just talking about it on paper. I like this atmosphere very much. I can tell. She is very happy. This kind of happiness is not that she tells you how happy she is. You can see from her eyes that she enjoys it and likes her current working status very much." Chin-wan looked sideways at him. "What about you? Are you busy at work?" "It's not too busy." Rong-li always feels dull when talking about his work, so he is always reluctant to say too much. His job is nothing more than making money. Capitalists don't get up early for no profit. Unlike Chin-wan, who can do it for his dreams, for love power generation is different. His reluctance to say more was another interpretation for Chin-wan. She secretly wondered whether he really had a crush on Jo Yunlin, and the two even went on vacation together. "When will you go home next time?" "The statutory holiday is coming to May Day. She has 30 days of vacation a year, and she plans to take them consecutively in September, just in time to celebrate the first birthday of her babies. She will have 30 days of vacation in this month. Without any changes, if there is a mission, she will immediately cancel her leave and come back. She is a little envious of the family members who are with the army, at least they can be reunited as a family. If she really wanted to marry Rong-li, he couldn't do the same." Chin-wan thought to herself, "What are you thinking? I just asked you to come down, why are you angry?" "How can I be angry?" Chin-wan retorted guiltily. "I was just taking a bath in the hot spring, so of course I'm not free." Then while enjoying the view while soaking in the hot spring, he saw me and guessed that I might have seen you, so he changed his mind. "What about you? You saw that I was still testing the situation, but you didn't tell me directly. You were here, and you deliberately ran downstairs to me. You even secretly checked the hotel's check-in records." Rong-li said calmly, "Isn't that a coincidence? He lives right in front of me. You will live behind me." Rong-li nodded. "Fate." "What a fate," You and I live on the same floor. I rented two small buildings. It's probably difficult to live in the same building as you. Chinwan. She suspected that Rongli was making trouble, but there was no evidence. Rongli took a deep breath, suppressed his temper, and asked Chinwan, who was taking the photo with you just now. You are talking about Jongguo, my colleague. I live in the same room with her. He wanted to ask if it was a boy, but Chinwan said it was a girl. After thinking about it, Rongli felt that he was too small, so he could only say, "You guys get along very well. We usually eat together, go back to the dormitory together, and communicate together. How can we have a bad relationship if we are together 20 hours a day?" Chinwan is very popular and has many friends. Even in the team, there are many people who like her. You saw me and Jongguo upstairs? Are you taking pictures? More than just a group of people, Rongli said lightly. We had a lot of fun. Of course young people are happy playing together. Chinwan didn't notice that he was jealous. Do they know you have a baby? Jongguo knows. Chinwan didn't hide it on purpose. It's just that she was so busy at work, and no one was so picky. She would show off photos with people when she saw her. This is my baby. She is quite private, and Jongguo didn't either. She specifically mentioned her privacy, but no one knew that she had a baby, except those comrades who knew her college classmates and mentioned her in daily chats. She didn't care either. Why do you ask? Small talk. Chinwan took 2 steps quickly and turned to look at him. Rongli stopped and their eyes met. Chinwan's eyes were smiling. There's something wrong with you. What's wrong? A leaf fell on her head. Rongli reached out and plucked the green leaves from her hair. The leaf was placed in the palm of his hand and fell gently to the ground with the wind. Chinwan couldn't tell what was wrong, but he could feel something was wrong. A shuttle bus was approaching. Rongli was afraid of hitting Chinwan, so he took her hand and pulled her aside, avoiding the shuttle bus in the villa. Chinwan was pulled so hard that she almost fell into his arms. Both of them averted their eyes in embarrassment, and Rongli let go as if nothing had happened. The two walked in silence for a while. Chinwan said, "The babies are doing well at my parents' house. We even had a video chat today. They are growing up so fast. When I go back on May Day, I will hardly recognize them. The baby is just the same every day." The two of them talked about the baby more naturally. Speaking of the baby, both of them talked endlessly, and Chen Liangdong and North took a lot of videos of the baby for her. Chinwan took them out and shared them with Rong Li. The two of them watched the videos together, but they couldn't speak yet, but they were very happy. Funny sons. Rong Li also laughed. Dabao is really lively and loves to laugh more than his younger brother. Yes, Bao is a bit serious. Chinwan watched the video, then looked at Rong Li, and concluded, like you. Am I serious? Don't you usually look in the mirror? Chinwan complained. I've never seen you smile. Rong Li was slightly startled. He really hadn't paid much attention to it, and there weren't that many funny things. He thought of the boy who took pictures with Chinwan. He had a bright smile and big white teeth. Do you like boys who smile a lot? No matter whether you are a man or a woman, everyone is lovable if you smile a lot. Who likes to look like a late lady? Rong Li frowned unhappily. Don't be confused, I didn't mention you. You don't have a wife-like face. Chinwan said, you just have a fierce face. Rong Li. Let's wait and see what happens later. Don't wait. Just get up and take a look in the morning. End of this chapter. Shocking. She came back with a smaller version of the boss. Author, and knows. Chapter 862. Chapter 862. Are you willing? Rongli and Chinwan went to the restaurant for dinner. There were many acquaintances of Chinwan in the restaurant, and she was not shy about saying hello. Jongguo also came to the restaurant for dinner. Before leaving, she asked Chinwan, Wan said that she had an appointment and she would come to the restaurant. When he found that Wan was actually with the handsome guy from the afternoon, his eyes widened. Do you think they know each other? No, if they were acquainted, why didn't Wan say anything? Chen Changlin asked gossiping, is that Wan's boyfriend? Zhangguo thought of Wan's two babies and shook her head, I don't know. We found a very handsome guy in the afternoon. Maybe Wan struck up a conversation with him because of his interest, and they hit it off immediately. Impossible, Wan is not this kind of person, Chen Changlin said. That's what we know. Wan and Rongli were sitting at the innermost side of the window, not very conspicuous. Because Wan was well known, everyone was curious about her love life, so she attracted a lot of attention. Rongli also noticed, you are a heartthrob. The charm is too great, I can't help it. Wan accepted the compliment without any guilt. She had complained about Ji Xian being a heartthrob before, but now it was her turn. It feels pretty good to be a heartthrob. She paused and said, you're not bad either. You're very popular with girls. Even big stars are fascinated by you. Who? I'm just pretending to be stupid. The hot searches are all about the relationship between you and Zhou Yunlin. They are quite beautiful. Wan wanted to add that she had good eyesight, but she controlled her mouth. Rongli's face darkened slightly and he sneered without saying a word. They took some dishes, but their appetites were average, and they were all sipping. One of them drank green plum wine, and the other drank red wine. The green plum wine was the taste that Wan introduced to him. Wan also noticed the awkwardness in the atmosphere and tried to resolve it. Zhangguo said, Zhou Yunlin and I look quite similar, don't we? Nothing similar at all. Rongli frowned. When they first met, he thought they would have some expressions on their faces. They both looked like little white flowers. In fact, they looked more like Chuchuk, but at a certain time. For example, when Wan acted and she played Xiao Beiwa, the two had very similar charms. But Wan's personality was neat and fiery, and his features were even more heroic. I don't think so either. Big stars are more glamorous. Wan meant it sincerely, not because of taste. She just commented on the appearance of the two people sincerely, and she didn't care. As for beauty, she has never seen a woman more beautiful than Gu Ci. Zhou Yunlin and I have a cooperative relationship. We have negotiated the endorsement of Black Hawk Smart Home. I am in charge of this matter. We happened to be in Hiken, so we asked her to talk. Wrongly suppressed his anger and said, we are not in a relationship. I'm not interested in falling in love with a woman I've just met for a few days. Wan pursed her lips, if we haven't talked about it, we haven't talked about it. Why are you angry? Why do you think I'm angry? I'm not the roundworm in your belly, how do I know why you are angry? Wrongly couldn't bear it anymore. Did you buy your master's degree? That's too much. You can question my beauty, but how can you question my IQ? Wan was unhappy, are you acting weird again? Wrongly said, so, in your eyes, I am an infatuated man who has confessed his love to a woman and then fell in love with another woman within a month. Wan. Wrongly looked at her straightly. Wan didn't know what to reply for a moment. She lowered her eyebrows and thought with some frustration. The next time they meet may be May Day, which is only 1 month's holiday a year. Are you willing? End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Shocking. She came back with a smaller version of the boss. Author, and knows. Chapter 863. Chapter 863 Parents' Love. Even if Wrongly is willing, are you willing? This is an unsolvable question. Wan did not dare to delve into her secret thoughts and looked at Wrongly with a smile. In my eyes, you deserve a better relationship. How do you define a better relationship? Wrongly asked. In your eyes, do Jang Junlin and Ji Sun count as a good relationship? Qin Wan thought to himself, of course it doesn't count. Ji Huan almost killed Jang Junlin back then. Which one was positive, including robbery, imprisonment and coercion? Even if we support each other now, what about the harm in the past? If it were another person, we would have met him in the next life. Essentially, she did not approve of such emotions, so she once rejected Ji Sun from getting close to Jang Junlin. Wrongly said, have you checked me or my parents? Qin Wan shook his head, and wrongly said, I am the youngest son of the wrong family. My mother is the mistress. When she fell in love with my father, he was not divorced yet, and he and his ex-wife were still in a very good relationship. My mother is a very good person. A capable woman never cries, makes trouble, or hangs herself. She is gentle and understands the general situation. She looks at my dad affectionately every day. She only cares about him in her heart. She acts like she can't live without him. It's a fact. She is a very powerful investment expert and can earn hundreds of millions a year from the stock market and futures market. She is never short of money, nor is she short of love. Many men love her, but she loves my dad with all her heart. Yes, my father was moved by her and truly fell in love with her. He divorced, left home because of her. His children all hated him, and it was considered a betrayal. But when he came to my mother, he realized that all this was nothing. It's false, revenge is real. My mother stayed with him for revenge, because my grandpa and grandma were killed by my dad. From beginning to end, this was just revenge, and I was the trophy of revenge. Or, a stain. However, when all the truth was revealed, my dad was like crazy. He was from a gangster background and had been tough all his life. He didn't believe that he had been tricked by a woman. Back then, when the Yakuza was very powerful, my mom had no chance of winning in a head-to-head confrontation with him. She revealed the truth just to get closure, but my dad didn't want to get closure. He really fell in love with her, so he forced her to marry him. In the eyes of outsiders, she married him unwillingly. My mind is already a little unhealthy, and they tortured each other after they got married. After my dad died, my mom actually cried. She had taken revenge for so many years, and her hatred was deep-rooted, but her feelings also came from the bottom of her heart. She also loved my dad during those years when she was married to him. They fell in love and tortured each other, but my mother said that if she could do it again, she would still not regret it, and she would still walk this path even if she was bruised and knew the ending. A lifelong love may not be perfect in the eyes of others, but my mother feels that it was her best time, and I may have inherited her stubbornness. This is a typical story of love and death, and he also concealed the thrilling plot of the story and only talked about the ending lightly. Wrongly rarely tells the story to others, just like he was once accused by thousands of people. He was obviously a Yakuza person, but he devoted himself to Black Eagle and betrayed the Yakuza. From beginning to end, he was just an accident. If it weren't for revenge, it shouldn't exist. He doesn't know what the best relationship is. He has been living a lie since he was a child. The love he has witnessed is not the best love in the eyes of others. After hearing his story, Qin Wan couldn't help but ask, are you sad when you knew the truth? What? Qin Wan felt even more distressed for Wrongly when she was still young. In fact, she had looked up the story, but it was a little more obscure than what Wrongly told. The year his mother married his father, Wrongly was only 7 years old. Are you sad to know that your parents don't love each other, they just want revenge? Qin Wan asked. End of this chapter. Shocking. She came back with a smaller version of the boss. Author, and knows. Chapter 864. Chapter 864 Perfection and 9 Perfections. Wrongly wanted to reply and forgot, but he clearly remembered his feelings at that time. I was very young at the time. In fact, I didn't know that my mother was a mistress and ruined other people's families. I only knew that my father was very busy and had to go in and out. There are many bodyguards, he comes home every week, and he has a very good relationship with his mother. My mother has never told me that my father has a family, so I naturally feel that we are a family, a very happy family of 3. I have Parents' Day, Mother's Day, and Father's Day in kindergarten. My father is never absent every time. He will take me to play football and help me overcome difficulties. I once drowned when I was a child, so I am very afraid of water. That day we were there. A family of 3 went on an outing by the river. He asked me, "Baby, are you afraid of water?" Of course I was afraid, but he picked me up and threw me into the river. The river was very deep. He told me that if I can't learn swimming, I will drown sooner or later. If you want to live, you have to swim over by yourself. I miraculously learned to swim and overcame my fear of water. In my heart, we were the happiest family of 3. Wrongly paused and chuckled. You ask me if I'm sad? Why not? Ever since I knew that I was a gift of revenge, it has been with me like a curse, no matter how much I want to get rid of it. I can't escape the burden, so I hate them, my mother, and my father. I have never been able to reconcile with them. Even if my father died and my mother is fasting and chanting Buddha, I still can't reconcile with them. He is willing to share his secret pain with Qinwan, but he cannot get out of the prison of childhood. Qinwan looked at him distressedly. Wrongly said, after the wrong family was defeated, I defected to Black Eagle. After my father died, I took over the important responsibilities of the family. The 3rd master told me about the dangers of the Jida, so I took the wrong family away from the Jida. Everyone is full of desires. If you cannot control your desires, it will be difficult to survive in the Yakuza. I discovered very early that the leader of the Yakuza is just a puppet and has no real power, so delegating power is the right thing to do. I studied hard. While trying to gain a foothold in Black Hawk, my mother tried to repair the relationship with me, but I didn't want to. No matter how she showed weakness, I was indifferent. I had seen those tactics when I was a child, but I was not my father, nor was I a child. Well, those methods are of no use to me. I am studying alone, and I just send simple text messages during holidays. I think, I may have been dozed off by fate, and it was an unintentional gift. It's just perfunctory, and the relationship has been weak since childhood, so be it. Why do you think so? Qinwan was shocked. Actually, your life is already perfect. Where is the perfection? What's not perfect? Qinwan said sternly. Everyone's starting point and end point are different, and their definition of perfection in life is also different. People who grew up in fine clothes and fine food think that they want to live a lifetime of prosperity and happiness, and have a happy love. Having 2 children is perfect. But people who are hungry think that hot meals in the cold winter are perfect. There will always be people who are more miserable than you, and there will always be people who are more perfect than you. Think about it. Think about the skinny people in the refugee camps, the people in war-torn areas who are always worried about which day a bomb will fall on their head, and then think about the people who are sick and sick. You are healthy, well-educated, and wealthy. But in the enemy country, you have a handsome face, a close friend, and a pair of precious sons. Wrongly, your life is more perfect than many, many people. Those childhood pains are nothing, they are just a thorn in your growth. Pull them out. Just pull it off. Life is like this, the road is full of thorns, you will always be pricked by 1 or 2 thorns, what's the big deal? Just pull it out. If you feel that your life is not perfect, what will others do? Wrongly looked at her steadily, then looked away suddenly, fearing that she would see the redness in his eyes. Qinwan's words made him realize that he had indeed magnified the pain he had felt. There will always be someone more desperate than you. There will always be someone who hurts more than you. He is in good health, has a pair of lovely sons, and has never been troubled by money. He is indeed very lucky. He is not a bonus for revenge. I feel very lucky, Chinwan said. Even though I grew up in an orphanage and my adoptive parents treated me badly after I was adopted, I still feel very lucky. I met my master and passed the exam. I am beautiful and healthy, and I have learned a lot how lucky I am. Later, I had parents, a child, and a career of my own. I feel that I am a child of luck. If I am not satisfied with this kind of fate, I will be too greedy. Therefore, I dare not be greedy for perfection. I am already perfect. Love, it is the spice of life. Now that you are 9 beauties, what do you lack? End of this chapter. Shocking. She came back with a smaller version of the boss. Author, and knows. Chapter 865. Chapter 865. If others can do it, so can I. Chinwan lowered his head, chuckled and said, my career has not yet reached expectations. This is my shortcoming, but I have hope that one day I will reach the peak. Wrongly laughed at himself. It turned out that love was really not in Chinwan's life plan. Chinwan rubbed her belly and said with a chuckle, this is not enough to eat. I will get some more food. I will get you whatever you want to eat. I'll do it myself, you choose what you like. Good. Chinwan got up and went to get food. Wrongly took a deep breath and looked out the window. The sun had set. The sky in Haikan was particularly beautiful. After the sun went down, there were colorful clouds on the horizon. Pink and purple clouds merged into one. The blue sea and sky were so beautiful. Mr. Rong, have a good evening. Zhou Yunlin greeted him with a smile. She and her assistant also came to the restaurant for dinner. Wrongly nodded politely. Zhou Yunlin saw the dining table opposite him. Chinwan had eaten very cleanly, but the plate had not been confiscated. It was obviously someone's. When Zhou Yunlin was about to ask something, Chinwan came over with the meal. Sitting opposite Wrongly, Zhou Yunlin was stunned and said politely, then I won't disturb you. She is indeed a well-informed woman who will not do anything embarrassing. Chinwan said, don't you explain it? Explain what? It's up to you. The big star is really beautiful, and even more so when seen up close. Whether it's the dress, the demeanor, or the right jewelry decoration, they are all so beautiful that it makes people's hearts beat. Wrongly was never moved by beauty, and even complained about Lu Ziwen and Ji Suan. When they fell in love, they only looked at their faces. Faces were of no value to him. He ate his dinner absent-mindedly, and Chinwan stopped testing her. I don't have a position, and I shouldn't test anything. When I come back on May Day, do I want to take a vacation together? Chinwan shook his head and said, May Day is a legal holiday, so I won't take any leave. When September comes, I will take another month off and use up all the leave. I don't want to miss the baby's first birthday. Their team is quite special. Vacation dates must be scheduled. She and the deputy team's vacations must be staggered. Everyone has about 30 days of vacation. They must ensure that the staff is in order. Chinwan has already applied for September vacation, and even continued to do so. It's November, this is the holiday that everyone is clamoring for. Chinwan is popular and is the team leader. In the first year, no one competes with her. Next year, she will give it to others. 1 year old. It's so fast. After having a baby, Wrongly felt that life passed very fast. In the past, he always felt that life passed slowly, especially when he had nothing to do, and he would wait for the sun to darken as soon as he closed his eyes. However, now he feels that time flies by, and he still before I had time to talk to anyone properly, it was already time to say goodbye. When they are 1 year old, will they call mom? I don't know, I'm teaching them now. When mentioning the baby, Wrongly was in a good mood. The first thing they say will definitely be their mother. It doesn't matter, even if you call me daddy, I'm not jealous. Wrongly laughed and poured her a glass of wine. As expected, it was a safe topic to talk about the baby. Perhaps it was because of the pain that had persisted for many years. Wrongly felt much more relaxed. Qinhuan's words really relieved him. Not far away, Zhou Yunlin was eating with his assistant, but his eyes were always on Wrongly and Qinhuan. They got along very harmoniously. Qinhuan was wearing a simple t-shirt and jeans, with a lively expression and beautiful features. Zhou Yunlin had a sense of crisis. Who is this? Did they come on vacation together? Is it Wrongly's friend or relative? Wrongly was very relaxed when he was with her. The assistant said, "Sister, don't be discouraged. Maybe she is a friend. You are better looking than her. She is also very beautiful." Even though Zhou Yunlin is a woman, she has to admit that Qinhuan is very beautiful and very recognizable. There is a shortage of such natural white faces in the domestic entertainment industry. If she gets out of the industry, she will be very popular. You are a well-known star and everyone's goddess. Zhou Yunlin smiled bitterly. Love is very mysterious. If you like it, you like it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. It's not a business. You have to weigh the pros and cons. Who said she is a well-known star? She will definitely get the one she loves. Qinhuan noticed Zhou Yunlin's gaze. She was facing Zhou Yunlin. Their eyes met. Qinhuan nodded to her. It was considered a greeting and there was no malice at all. She also didn't want to get involved in Wrongly and Zhou Yunlin's affairs. Whether you like it or reject it, it's all Wrongly's business. Qinhuan, let me ask you something. If I hadn't greeted you first, would you have met me if you knew I was in Hiken? Qinhuan was not pretentious. I originally planned to have a meal with you after the exercise. Why didn't you find it? Isn't this a group bathing in the hot spring? It's not good to be absent from group activities, and it will take more than an hour for Hiken to arrive, so I didn't mention it. Do you have a day off after every exercise? It depends on the situation. Let me know in advance where the next exercise will be. Brother, we only have one large-scale exercise or small-scale exercise. In a few years we will disband and return to the team, and we will not take a vacation. Qinhuan couldn't laugh or cry. Why did he really want to find a chance to meet? Oh. You haven't given up yet, Qinhuan sighed, but asked bluntly. Why give up? We are really not suitable for each other. Qinhuan said, I only have this little vacation a year, and you and I live in two places together. Can this last long? Or can you join the army? It is basically impossible for Wrongly to be transferred with her. Is it plausible that the Black Eagle boss is placed in the family compound of the base? She doesn't want to give up her job. She has to live like this for at least 3 years. After 3 years, she will make a development decision. Why can't we live separately in two places? Wrongly asked. This is the case for military families. Others can do it, so why can't I? Moi. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Shocking. She came back with a smaller version of the boss. Author, and knows. Chapter 866. Chapter 866. I want to take care of the child. Qinhuan was flipping through the book absent-mindedly. Wrongly's words kept coming back to her mind. Others can do it, why can't I? She also understood that Wrongly had never given up in her heart. He still liked her, and after having children, this feeling would be stronger. He wanted a family, so why didn't she want a family? She was very conflicted. Zhongguo sent a message, and the regiment asked them to marry someone from the Wild Wolf Squadron, and asked Qinwan if he would come. Zhangguo was very excited. The figure is so good, these big brothers. Not only are they in good shape, they are the best special forces team, and their business capabilities are also top-notch. This exercise performed best. You go ahead and play, I'm tired and I'm resting in the room. Qinwan had no intention of provoking Peach Blossoms. Zhangguo said, what a pity. Several people came to ask you why you didn't come. She took a look, put down her phone with a chuckle, and suddenly felt a craving for cigarettes. Ever since she became pregnant, she had tried hard to quit smoking, and had long since lost her craving. Smoking was not allowed here, and Qinwan had not touched a cigarette for a while. She was chewing gum, feeling an indescribable annoyance in her heart. Rongli always left a way out for himself and didn't push too hard. As long as Qinwan knew what he meant, he said good night to Qinwan and went to bed early. Early the next morning, he received news from Qinwan. She left Hot Spring Mountain early in the morning and returned to the team. She boarded the plane an hour ago and should be thousands of miles high in the sky now. Qinwan, let's meet on May Day and take the baby on a trip. Rongli raised the corners of his lips, okay. Many things have been revealed. Rongli went hiking with his friends and booked a flight back to Sitia in the evening. Unexpectedly, he saw Zhou Yunlin in the first-class waiting room, and the two of them took the same flight home. Zhou Yunlin felt very surprised. She and Rongli had met each other again and again, and they were really destined to meet each other. Rongli is about to be pregnant. Is Zhou Yunlin pretending to be on him? The probability of such frequent encounters is really small. Zhou Yunlin chuckled and said, when I checked out today, I originally wanted to ask you when you were leaving, but I was afraid of delaying you. I didn't expect it to happen. Is your work in Hiken going well? It went very smoothly. Thanks to Black Eagle, they also improved my salary. Zhou Yunlin said humorously, I have to thank you. This is obvious. I am a businessman, and my investment should be rewarded, as it should be. Don't worry, I will definitely serve as a spokesperson whenever I appear on the live broadcast. There will definitely be Blackhawk Smart products. That's not necessary, Rongli chuckled. Zhou Yunlin said, really, I originally used your competitors' smart products, but recently I replaced the whole house with Blackhawk. Zhou Yunlin thought that Rongli must be very touched by her sincerity. Who knows, Rongli asked, I have used both sets of products. What is your experience? Which product do you like better and why? After switching to a smart home, I came to work in Hiken. The cleaning lady may have been using it a lot recently. I haven't experienced it much yet. I'll let you know after I experience it for a few days. Okay, why did you buy our competitor's product in the first place? After the launch of Smart Home in the past 2 years, it became very popular. I installed a fresh air system in my home. They recommended Whole House Smart Home. I found it very convenient and installed it all. Zhou Yunlin said, after using it for more than a year, the experience is still good. Not bad, there's nothing to fix. Rongli nodded. They started a little 2 years later, and their market share is now ranked 3rd. The upward trend is very strong, mainly because Blackhawk's publicity is also strong. All Blackhawk's homes have used new smart systems. Invisibly, it is also an advertisement, and it is a very effective advertisement. Rongli also knows his own products well. Zhou Yunlin drank juice and asked casually, Mr. Rong, the girl I met at the Hot Spring Hotel that day was very beautiful. Is she your girlfriend? No, Rongli had no intention of exposing Qinwan's privacy, and refused to explain after denying it. Zhou Yunlin was scratching his heart and lungs, but he had no choice but to continue to pry. Rongli made it clear that he didn't want to talk anymore, so she had to be sensible. The assistant was worried for her and added, she is so beautiful, she looks a bit like my sister. Rongli frowned, it doesn't look like that. Zhou Yunlin smiled awkwardly. The assistant wanted to say something more, but she stopped her with her eyes. Apart from business matters, Rong Li and Zhou Yunlin had nothing to talk about, so they broke off the conversation. Zhou Yunlin was not embarrassed at all. After boarding the plane, the two of them sat in the front and back rows, making it inconvenient to talk. Zhou Yunlin was a little regretful, but he was not in a hurry. Talk to him and the future will be long. After getting off the plane, Zhou Yunlin's fans heard about her schedule from somewhere and picked her up at the airport. Fans surrounded the airport. As soon as Zhou Yunlin got off the plane, she received a text message from her agent, asking her to leave later. But Zhou Yunlin didn't want to wait for an hour or two, so she asked her assistant to wear her clothes to pick up her luggage. She wanted to distract the fans first and avoid causing trouble to people at the airport. This was not a planned itinerary. Zhou Yunlin asked Rong Li, "Mr. Rong, my fans have surrounded me at the airport, and there are many reporters. I asked my assistant to distract them. Can you get rid of Mr. Rong and take me for a ride?" "Okay, you come with me." Rong Li has a special passage. After taking his luggage, he takes a shuttle bus to the parking lot and can leave the airport directly. Zhou Yunlin was extremely surprised. There is still such a passage. Can we use it? If they, a group of idols, can use the data, they should be able to save a lot of trouble. Probably not. It will be more troublesome. It depends on the capabilities of your agency. Rong Li also told the truth. Ji Sun and Lu Ziwen had special status and were often assassinated, so Zhang Junlin created a special channel for them. The three of them, everyone can use it to avoid trouble. Rong Li doesn't like to trouble others, so he doesn't always take the special channel. Zhou Yunlin said, "Mr. Rong, help me again. When are you free next week? I will treat you to dinner." "I may not be free next week, I have to take care of the kids," Rong Li said lightly. "If you don't mind, I'll invite you at Universal." Bringing up a child, Zhou Yunlin was startled, then asked with a chuckle, "Is it your relative's child?" "It's my son." End of this chapter. Shocking. She came back with a smaller version of the boss. Author, and knows. Chapter 867. Chapter 867. This is quite new. After Rong Li returned home, he went to pick up the baby the next day. The baby didn't recognize the baby at all. Rong Li reached out to hold him, and Dabao opened his arms excitedly for him to hold. Rong Li hadn't seen them for a few days and missed them very much. The confinement sisters carried the baby's belongings to the car. Rong Li holding Dabao in her arms and chatting with Chen Liangdong. She also said that she saw Qin Wan in Haikan and that she would not come back until May Day next time. Chen Liangdong had long known that Qin Wan would go home on May Day, but he didn't expect that they would meet in Haikan. It was quite unexpected, but he didn't interfere in the children's affairs, so he didn't say much. The child's appearance opened up a little more. He was well raised and chubby. Before he went on a business trip, Bao was not very energetic. Now his face is rosy and he looks very healthy. Rong Li couldn't help but kiss him. Ji Sun has been waiting at Universal for a long time. He picked up the baby to play with as soon as it came back. The baby was at Chen Liangdong's house these days, and he was too embarrassed to go and visit. He had long thought about Rong Li coming back and took the baby back. "Are they all heavier? I can't see anything in just a few days." Rong Li still measured the baby's height. He didn't grow taller and only weighed half a catty. It was not obvious at all. Ji Xian asked casually, "You and Zhou Yunlin are quite destined." "It's just a chance meeting in the hotel. They work in the same class. The plane is back. It's such a coincidence that I suspect you are selling my itinerary." "Don't slander me. What's the point of betraying me? Didn't you and Zhou Yunlin hit it off right away?" "You are slandering me." Rong Li chuckled and ignored him. Rong Li started his career as a nanny, taking care of his children and going to work. His life was relatively simple and boring. Apart from work, he devoted all his time to his baby. When the baby was able to crawl and sit up for the first time, Rong Li did not miss it. He specially made a documentary about the baby's growth. He would update the status every few days. He also shot many short videos and sent them to Qin Wan, so that she could also experience it. The joy of baby growing up. After Zhou Yunlin came back, she had a very busy schedule. It wasn't until mid-March that she had time to make an appointment with Rong Li. Rong Li promised to treat her to a meal, but he didn't refuse. He invited her to a meal in a restaurant around the world. In the past 2 months, he has been very smart. Home furnishing sales have increased significantly. The spokesperson Zhou Yunlin has cooperated with 3 live broadcasts. The effect is very good, the popularity has once again increased, and the user experience is also very good. When the user experience is better, product sales will be more obvious. This is a virtuous circle. Rong Li had long wanted to invite her to dinner. He chose the Cantonese restaurant downstairs. Zhou Yunlin went to the appointment alone without an assistant. She looked good and relaxed. Rong Li offered her a glass of wine. The two were talking about business. Rong Li was very satisfied with the effect of her endorsement, so he gave her the lead role in the movie Black Hawk was planning. This was a role that movie stars were rushing to get. Zhou Yunlin was very surprised. If it had been a few months ago, I didn't know he had a baby, Zhou Yunlin might have misunderstood, but he didn't expect Rong Li to be so generous in doing things. Then thank Mr. Rong and wait until I read the script before I get back to you, okay? Okay, Rong Li said, take your time, don't be in a hurry. Zhou Yunlin also poured wine, toasted Rong Li, and asked casually, how old is Mr. Rong's son? 6 months. Rong Li's face became softer when he mentioned the children. Zhou Yunlin chuckled and said, Ji Sun said you were single, but I misunderstood. I'm single. Can't I have children if I'm single? Rong Li didn't understand. Is the secular view in China so harsh? No, Zhou Yunlin laughed at himself, I misunderstood. I saw you at the BG dinner a few months ago. In fact, it was not the first time I met you. Maybe you have forgotten it, but I always remember it. And it's getting deeper and deeper, so I asked Ji Sun to ask about you, I want to pursue you. Rong Li. This is quite new. Moi. End of this chapter. Shocking. She came back with a smaller version of the boss. Author, and knows. Chapter 868. Chapter 868. What bad intentions can I have? Rong Li didn't expect that Zhou Yunlin's temptations and attentiveness were actually to pursue him. Perhaps it was too subtle, so he didn't see it, and he didn't think about it. When he was in Haikan, Zhou Yunlin also tried several times. No wonder he was so surprised when he heard that he had a child. We have only met a few times, and you don't know me at all. Isn't love just a process of slowly getting along and getting to know each other? Zhou Yunlin said with a chuckle, I'm afraid of causing trouble to you, and I'm also afraid that you think I like you just for endorsement, but that's not the case. I like you because of you, that's why I want to endorse Black Hawk's products and have more contact with you. I hope you will like me. I tried my best to meet you by chance and ask Ji Sun about your preferences. That's why I wanted to suit your liking. However, I was surprised that you had a child. I thought you had a girlfriend and I had no chance. But I clearly asked that you were single, so I wanted to ask you, do I still have a chance? Rong Li remembered that when he pursued Qin Wan, he was rejected several times. People who had a crush on Qin Wan were always humble, nervous, and uneasy. Rong Liming didn't understand this feeling, so he said as tactfully as possible, Ms. Zhou, I was slow and didn't notice your thoughts. If I had noticed earlier, I would have made it clear to you earlier. I have a girl I like, and my son is also her. There are some problems between us that have not been overcome and resolved, and I don't know if they can be resolved, so I can't guarantee the future. But regardless of whether we can overcome the problems, I don't intend to like another person again. You are very good. Is also very good. I hope you can meet someone more exciting and suitable. Jo Yunlin already had a premonition, but she still asked bluntly, just to get a clear understanding. Jo Yunlin asked, "Is it, the girl I saw at the hot spring hotel?" Rong Li had no need to lie, "It's her." "What kind of person is she?" Jo Yunlin asked curiously. "She," Rong Li said, "she is serving in the army and she is a very straightforward girl." Although Jo Yunlin was a little sad, she said calmly and generously, "Mr. Rong has a good vision. I wish Mr. Rong well and hope that all your wishes will come true." "Thank you." Rong Li raised his glass. The two clinked their glasses and looked at each other with a smile. After dinner, Jo Yunlin returned to the car, her smile slowly fading away. Knowing that she would confess her love tonight, the assistant asked excitedly, "Sister, how are you? Is it successful?" Jo Yunlin shook his head, "He has a sweetheart, let's drive." The assistant saw that she was a little sad and didn't know how to comfort her. Jo Yunlin looked out the window, her confession failed, and she still couldn't be happy. This was the first time in so many years that she liked someone so much. Unfortunately, the goddess wanted to help Wang Wumeng. It's all in vain after all. She can't do anything like stalking. She doesn't want to sink herself into the dust and do things that she despises. There are so many things to be busy with every day. If love is gone, she will meet again. If your heart and dignity are gone, then they are really gone. Jo Yunlin chuckled, she would definitely be able to forget the secret love and start over. Rong Li returned upstairs and kicked Ji Suan, "You knew Jo Yunlin was interested in me, why didn't you tell her about Qin Wan?" "She didn't ask." Ji Xian asked with a smile, "Did she confess her love?" "What bad intentions are there? I just want you to experience the feeling of being pursued by a woman." We'll update again at night. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Shocking. She came back with a smaller version of the boss. Author, and knows. Chapter 869. Chapter 869. Let's give it a try. Rong Li knew that Ji Sun wanted to watch the excitement. Ji Sun didn't care whether he liked Qin Wan or wanted to be with Qin Wan. It was his own life. Ji Sun said, "It's rare for someone to take the initiative to ask for news about you." "How rare it is. Jo Yunlin really likes you, which I think is great. What if you two can spark something?" "It won't happen next time." Rong Li kicked him, "There is a venue fee for watching the excitement." Okay, take it." "I'll take the venue fee and buy a gift for my godson." Ji Xian asked gossiping, "Did you completely reject Jo Yunlin's showdown?" "What else?" Rong Li raised his eyebrows, "It would be outrageous for me to hang on to her. If I had known earlier, I would have told her earlier and wouldn't have wasted such a long time." Ji Xian spread his hands and said, "Then just wait for Qin Wan with all your heart." Rong Li looked at the desk calendar next to him. He marked the date on May Day. Even if Qin Wan came back, there would only be a 3-day holiday on May Day, which was not very long. There would be no long holiday until September. He has seriously considered his future with Qin Wan. It is definitely unrealistic for him to take his children to live in a compound. His identity is a bit sensitive, even if no one else cares about it now. He also has to go in and out frequently and travel on business. The regulations there are very strict, which is definitely not realistic. It is not realistic for Qin Wan to quit her job. This is her dream. The only way out is to live separately in the two places and wait for Qin Wan's family leave. He usually takes his children to visit Qin Wan when he has nothing to do, which can be regarded as a family visit. This is their only way out. Can he and Qin Wan do it? Chen Liangdong and North have acquiesced in their relationship, Qin Wan has also left the Yakuza, and Black Eagle has successfully transformed and is now a pure financial institution and consortium. Because of Ji Huan and Zhang Junlin, they will also cooperate with many domestic financial policies. There is no problem of being in the wrong place, it just depends on whether they are willing or not. He knew Qin Wan's concerns very well. He also had concerns, but was willing to give it a try. If you don't give it a try, how come you don't know that they can't persist? Wrongly, Qin Wan, let's give it a try. I have thought about it carefully. If I don't give it a try, I really won't be willing to do it. I want to grow old with you and have a complete home with you. If you regret it in the future and want to leave, I can let you go at any time and return to the state you feel comfortable with now, okay? Wrongly was very nervous after sending the news. He was particularly afraid of Qin Wan's rejection. Although he was used to being rejected by Qin Wan, he still had hope. He also knew that he was forcing things. Qin Wan was not someone who could easily change his position. Qin Wan replied to him very late, I will tell you the answer on May Day. Wrongly, okay. With her words, May Day became Wrongli's most anticipated holiday. Qin Wan would specially spend 3 days every week to video chat with the babies. In addition to telling her to pay more attention to her body and be less tired, Wrongly also what to say too much. After Wrongly confessed, Qin Wan suffered from insomnia for several nights. If she said she was not moved at all, it would be a lie. She already had a good impression of Wrongly after meeting her once in Hot Spring Mountain. She became more interested in Wrongly, an indescribable feeling of distress. He was such an arrogant person, but he humbled himself in the dust and asked for a consummation. She was reluctant to refuse his request. Intellectually, she knew very well that there was a big gap between herself and Wrongly, but he was right. Try it, how do you know it doesn't work? End of this chapter. Shocking. She came back with a smaller version of the boss. Author, and knows. Chapter 870. Chapter 870. You have to call me brother. Wrongly visibly became more active, mainly in the fact that he took the babies to see Chen Liangdong and North on Saturdays and Sundays. For Qin Wan's words, he wanted to get the consent of Chen Liangdong and Dr. North first. Chen Liangdong and North are both human beings, and they can also see his thoughts. North asked Qin Wan if he had said anything to Wrongly. Qin Wan denied it, and there was some soft sadness in her heart. She understood what Wrongly was thinking. So she just let nature take its course. She had already been determined to give it a try. Ji Sun and Zhang Junlin have now moved to a new home. From time to time they invite Gu Si and Lu Ziwen to play, and they often hold parties. Ji Sun will also invite Wrongly, and Wrongly will bring the babies. Every party is very lively. His home is not far from the Zhang family's old house. Only the elders of the family and Gu Zi live in the old house. Living apart is far away and very relaxed. The activities that young people like may not be liked by the elderly, so the elders in the family are also very supportive. They live a world of two, so as not to be restricted at home. On Gu Si's day off, Ji Sun called everyone to have dinner together and have a barbecue in the courtyard. Ji Xian bought a lot of seafood and beef. Gu Si and Lu Ziwen came very early. Zhang Junlin and Ji Sun were handling the seafood. When they entered the hospital, Zhang Junlin didn't know what to say. Ji Sun laughed so much that he poked him with a crab. Lu Ziwen clicked his tongue, and Gu Si lightly hit him on the arm. This guy looked at Ji Sun as if he was seeing his own son being by a pig. Obviously he is younger than Ji Sun. Where is your chef? Lu Ziwen asked. Do you have to do it yourself? It's delicious to make your own food, Ji Sun said. Are you sure, it's not the chef who makes it delicious? Zhang Junlin and Ji Sun's family hired 3 chefs, one Chinese, one Western, 1 dedicated to cooking for Zhang Junlin, 2 live-in aunts, and 2 maintenance staff. Ji Sun asked the chefs and aunts to have a barbecue today. During the holiday, they came to experience it themselves. Ji Sun's hands-on skills were okay, but Zhang Junlin was a little unsure. He has been picky about food since he was a child, but he has never cooked much for himself. He is only picky about the meals cooked by others. While handling crabs, my fingers were pinched and they bled. Crabs don't even know how to handle real vegetables, Lu Ziwen mocked when he saw this. Gu Si originally asked her to handle it, but Zhang Junlin looked at Lu Ziwen coldly. You can do it, I'll handle it. Okay, let me teach you a trick. Lu Ziwen washed his hands and came over to help him deal with it. Ji Xian went to sea with his friends a few days ago and set out fishing nets. They caught many orchid crabs, which were very fat. He sent a batch home and left about 20 crabs. Today, I'll bring it to the barbecue. In addition to orchid crabs, there are also many cuttlefish brought here today. They are all alive and have just spit out ink and died. They are very fresh. Lu Ziwen skillfully grabbed the jumping orchid crabs, took a small brush, and gently brushed the dirt on their bodies. He was really not bitten. Zhang Junlin glanced at the side, and Lu Ziwen looked over provocatively. Learn reached. Zhang Junlin took a deep breath and said unwillingly, what's so difficult about this? He imitated Lu Ziwen in every way. Ji Xian and Gu Si looked at each other and shook their heads. They really didn't know how to complain. Then Zhang Junlin was caught again and painfully threw the crab away a meter away. The water splashed into Lu Ziwen's eyes. Everybody. Lu Ziwen frowned. Okay, young master, stop working. You can't do anything, and you're nothing. Ji Xian felt sorry for Zhang Junlin's fingers. The third master is right. You can't do this job. Let him do it. Is your finger bleeding again? Gu Si saw that Lu Ziwen was about to taunt, so she tapped his head with her finger and said, work hard. So, if you are so kind, what do you want the chef to do on vacation? It's so much fun to do it yourself. Ask Zhang Junlin, where is the fun? When Zhang Junlin didn't speak, Ji Xian said, third master, there is something I don't know whether I should say. Then don't say it. You should call him big brother. Ji Sun ignored his warning and said with a smile, nothing big or little. Is your elbow turned out? Lu Ziwen warned. Ji Sun smiled and said, that's right. If you really want to go by seniority, you should also call me brother. Gu Si. Zhang Junlin nodded, that's the truth. I call you brother, do you dare to answer? Lu Ziwen asked while brushing the orchids and crabs, do you have a marriage certificate? You just want to be my brother. End of this chapter.